nice. Wow. This is a lot thicker than it looked in the picture. Look at that. Goes in nice and tight. Look at that. Damn truck's level again. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Slightly Modified YouTube channel. And this behind me is my big ass Ford F250 pickup truck. Now, we don't normally make videos about this. This is normally the work pig, the tow hauler, the freaking just the bulletproof tow rig, in which it is. But we've been having a problem lately ever since we put this huge camper on here. Now, this ain't the heaviest camper. It's like maybe like 2,000 pounds, maybe like 2,500 fully loaded with water and, you know, poop and all that stuff. But we've been having a problem with squat. And normally, just like this, it's not a big deal. You know, it squats a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. But we normally tow around with this huge enclosed trailer with a bunch of heavy stuff in it, like this 2JZ 4Runner. So it's a problem, because when we're towing this trailer fully loaded with the camper, fully loaded, this tow hitch right here is dang near touching the ground. Now, there are times when I can combat this issue with a weight distribution hitch, but it's just not enough. You can see with this lift kit and stuff like that, I got to do all this trickery to get, you know, the trailer way back behind. That way we have a full turning radius and we do not jackknife the camper on the trailer. So two things you could do: you could throw on some airbags. You can replace this bump stop, throw some airbags on those, I think they call them joust bumpers or whatever. You can throw airbags on there. It's a whole thing, it's a big process. Or you can straight up bolt on this road active suspension kit and tighten it up and level your truck. Basically what you do is you take it, you slap it over the rear side of your leaf pack here, and you pretty much tighten up the spring and it'll pretty much level your truck. So what we're going to do is we're going to install this road active suspension kit. I've heard a lot of good things about it and I am excited to give it a try. We are going to take before and after measurements and everything. This truck has an 8-inch super lift kit on it, and the cool thing about the road active suspension is as long as your leaf spring is pretty much there, then you can bolt the sucker on. Now, there was a little bit of discrepancy. They ask on these F250s if you have an overload spring on the top, which I do not. They said their kit is still effective with that, but it's not going to be as effective on a truck that, you know, one that doesn't have it at all. So we're going to unbox this. We're going to take a look at them, and we're going to slap these on. Now, there's two different types you can get for my F250. You get the regular one and you get the heavy duty one. Now, since I'm towing a crap load of weight and I have a crap load of tongue weight, we need the heavy duty one. So I'll go ahead and slap the part number right here for these bad boys. And yeah, nothing left to it but to do it. So we're going to take a couple measurements and we're going to crack open this box. So let me go grab a tape measure real quick. Okay, let's just do from the ground to the fender. With these huge wheels, it's kind of tough to tell, but it's roughly 47.5 inches, maybe closer to 48. On the passenger side, my driveway has a little bit of a slope, so it might be different. I think this side's gonna be lower. Yeah, this side's like 46.5. And all the heavy stuff in my camper is on the left side: the toilet, the sink, all the storage and stuff like that. So let's measure the front just for shits and giggles. We're looking at 50.5 to 51, maybe 50.75 in the front. So that's a good 3 inches of squat without the trailer. So you can only imagine with the trailer. Actually, I have a picture. I'll slap it in right here. Now the truck can tow anything, no problem. We're not even at 3/4 of its tow capacity, but the squat gets pretty bad. Just because it could pull 18,000 pounds, it doesn't mean it can have, you know, 2,500 in the bed and, you know, I don't know, over 1,000 on the tongue weight. This payload capacity, I believe, is like 4,000 or something like that. But you're at the max. Plus I got this lift kit on here. It's a whole thing. So I'm gonna write down these measurements before I forget. Let's crack open these boxes. Ooh, big shout out to the guys who have road active suspension. Got a little t-shirt in here. Oh, this looks heavy. Yeah, it's heavy. Oh, nice. Wow, this is a lot thicker than it looked in the picture. Holy cow. No wonder why these things work so well. Look at the size of this freaking spring. Holy cow, look how thick that is. So the cool thing about these is is all it is. We got that, and I can only imagine what's in here. Some hardware, maybe? Maybe? Yup, some hardware. So by the looks of it, looks like this kit works mainly off of leverage and takes some of the weight off of the leaf spring. The leaf spring's still gonna work, but this helps it make it stiffer, basically. So, god dang, look how thick this is. This is some serious stuff. Can't wait to slap it on. This is a very simple procedure. Basically, all you need is like 3 tools in about 10 minutes. So what it wants you to do, it wants you to jack your truck up, put it on jack stands safely, and it wants you to take your wheels off so you can get more room. And another reason why it wants you to take your wheels off is so you can work in there, but they want all the weight off of the leaf spring pack, because when you tighten this, you're tightening this according to there being no weight on the axle at all, which basically means step in the air. So what I did, I know it's kind of sketchy, but I just went ahead and I put a jack under my hitch because my truck is so high I can't use any type of jack or jack stand unless I get like those really big ones, and I don't have them. And I already did the side and it took me like 10 minutes. So there are 2 shims. You got this white shim and this black shim, and that shim is used in between the gaps in the springs when you tighten them up, and that's how you set your preload or whatever, your tension. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna slap this thing on, but out of the box for shipping, what they do is they take this and it threaded all the way inside of here. What you need to do is back that out a little bit. That way you can make this sucker long enough to where you can hook it on your leaf pack, and then take this shackle, whatever you call it, and bolt it on the bottom of your leaf pack. Don't worry, if that jack breaks, this wheel gap is really big. It's not gonna crush me or anything. This truck's so high. So back here, you see your leaf pack right there at the top. You're just gonna hook the back over that, and then that sucker's gonna make its way on over here, and then you're gonna take that shackle, you're gonna take that bolt out, you're gonna drop it down here, and then you're gonna put the bolt back in. So let's do that real quick. Okay, so you see how we just threaded that out about 6 inches. Now these are the jam nuts that you're gonna press up to here when you're done. I believe these, they said it was like 24 millimeter or something like that. I got a couple of adjustable wrenches for that. Now, so there's this nylon threaded nut that's only on there hand tight so that you could take it off. So that, this is a 19. This right here is a 10 millimeter Allen hex. So I got that. We're just gonna leave these right here for a second. We're gonna take this, got that sucker set right there. That's good enough. So you see how there's really not enough room to get that hooked over? What you do is you pull it to the side to get it over the leaf pack, and then once you can get it over it, slide it back on. There we go, get that back. See how it's around the side? Put it right on top just like that. Make sure it's centered. So we gotta move it over just a little bit. There you go, done. Now you see how I can't get the bolt in? So what I need to do is I need to thread this out just a little bit more. So you hold the screw and then you thread the spring, and you do that until it basically comes out so you can get that bolt in. Okay, there we go. It slips right in there. Put our nylon on. So before we start snugging down the spring, we're gonna go ahead and tighten up that with our 10 millimeter Allen and our 19 millimeter socket. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. Got the sucker on a 3/8 inch drive, and I got my 19 millimeter wrench. Gonna crawl into the truck. Only do this if it's safe. My truck is lifted a million miles, so we're gonna go under here safely. Okay, we got our shim right here. We're gonna go ahead and put that right there. Now, I couldn't get a ratchet in there, so I got this next best thing. It's a ratcheting wrench. So what you do, put it on there. Now there's two things you could do. You can either jam these jam nuts together and put a wrench on it to hold it, which would probably be the better thing to do, or you could just be like me and just hold it by hand while you tighten this sucker up. Now, right when you start feeling tension, make sure that it is centered back there on top of your leaf pack. We're looking good. So we're just gonna keep on going. So the more you thread this, the bigger this gap is gonna get. So once the gap gets moderately big enough, you'll take your shim and you'll put it in there, and you'll just keep putting it in there until your shim fits right in the middle. See, now I'm to the point where I don't even need to hold the rod anymore. It's just staying there by itself. See, our spring is developing a gap now. Not big enough. Starting to go in, but not comfortably. Look at that. Goes in nice and tight. A little bit more. And that's it. Now we're gonna tighten our jam nuts. We're gonna get this truck back on the ground. So what you're gonna do is tighten that one and then tighten this one to lock it up. We're gonna double check our other side because this thing's not 100% in the air. It's like 98%. Once we get those jam nuts tightened, that's it. We're gonna put this sucker back together. In other words, drop it back down. Okay, including filming and everything, both sides took 20 minutes. They say an hour only because you have to jack it up, put on jacks and shake your wheels off, do safely. Me, I'm quick, like lightning. So this is really sketchy, so let's let this down. Son of a gun. Look at that, damn truck's level again. That's cool. So you can see once you get this back down, these springs have a ton of tension on them. So the reason why they want you to put this spacer in up in the air is because this is how you set your spacing. See, when you put it down, it's loose like a hot dog down a hallway. You know what I mean? So that's why they want you to do that. And holy cow, my truck hasn't sat this level in dang near a year. And more importantly, when we start towing, this thing is way more stiff, which is good. Dang good. So check this out. Yeah, still pretty loose. So what we could do is we can get actual shims in there and see if they're actually even or not. Since it looks like I have a little bit more weight on the left side. This is probably got like, I don't know, at least 100 more pounds of weight on this side. We got the toilet, the pots and pans, the stove, the sink, you know, all that stuff is over here. So I understand why the truck would be sitting a little bit to the left, but holy cow, look at that, guys. I freaking cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. So we're gonna take some measurements again right now while we're here. So I have everything written down from before, but now here we are. Let's check it again. So in the front, between front left and front right, before and after, we probably got not much, maybe 1/8 of an inch difference, which is kind of hard to tell just by measuring it by the eye. But what that means is the truck is starting to level out and put some of that weight back on the front just by seeing that 1/8 of an inch. I know it's not much, but what it means is it's transferring the weight as the rear comes up and it's putting some weight back on the front. It's going to give you a better steering feel. Now on the rear is where the difference was at. We started at around 46.5 and ended at 47.25. We got about 3/4 inch difference in squat. So we got 3/4 inch less squat in the rear, and that's just by using the factory shims and setting them to the factory recommendations. I just wanted to follow the factory specs because why not? It's their product, they know. Now as you can see, now that it's back on the ground and everything's tight, so the reason why they want you to shim it while it's in the air is because it puts obviously less stress on this bolt and all these threads and stuff like that. But because when you put it back down, there's going to be way more tension on it. So they wanted you to do it with practically no load on the leaf pack, and then once you put it down, that's when it really starts to make a difference. But I'm not really looking to get rid of a ton of squat because the squat really didn't bother me. It was when I hooked up the trailer. So when I hook up the trailer, it's going to put a lot more on this, and it's going to put a lot more pressure on these bad boys. So While we're at that, I never went over the hitch. I measured from the bottom of the hitch to the ground, and that changed 1.25 inches, which is fantastic. Because when I'm going down driveways and stuff, my trailer hooked up is dragging on the floor, even with my load bars hooked up. Now, I'm still gonna hook up my load bars, obviously, A, because I have them, and B, because they help eliminate sway. But for squat reasons, this road active suspension should help me out a lot. And it looks pretty freaking cool sitting there right in the wheel well. You could, I mean, shoot, if you wanted to, you could probably even adjust it right here. I wouldn't recommend adjusting it with the weight on the truck. It's best to get the weight off of it, but that looks freaking cool. With the Fox shocks, hostile, what they do, these are like 22 by 12s. The wheels look freaking awesome. The truck just has a whole look to it. So we're gonna hook up the trailer in about a week, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go over one more overview, and then we're gonna call this video quits. But I'll give you guys a little view of the truck. The back of the driveway is higher, so it's on a downhill slope, so just keep that in mind. But the truck looks a lot better. A lot better. 3/4 inch makes a huge difference. So thank God this road active suspension helped me out a ton. And the cool thing about it is, freaking piece of cake. Now you can see I'm not going to be hitting my bump stop all the time, because even though this made 3/4 difference in squat, it probably made a lot more difference in the way the suspension is actually going to work. So keep that in mind as well, and the towing and stuff like that. So we're gonna get the trailer hooked up, we're gonna put a car in there, and we're gonna take another picture and see how it is. All right, so after installing the active suspension, definitely feel a difference. I just towed this thing 100 miles one way, and I just came home. As you can see now, yes, the truck is still squatting a little bit. I'm gonna put up before and after pics right here. Now you can see the trailer is actually tongue high. So I need to get a bigger drop hitch that goes down further, because I want the trailer to be level. But I do have a lot of weight in the trailer. When I took the before picture, I don't think I had the 4Runner in here. I think I had my Lexus in here. So I'd say that's damn near 2,000 pounds lighter than this 4Runner. I also have a dirt bike in here as well. I got this heavy freaking street legal dirt bike right here. I got my generator here, all my stuff. Got my huge 2JZ 4Runner in here. So I think it's safe to say that this road active suspension is working pretty good. I didn't take a squat measurement before and after with the trailer hooked up, but as you can see, according to where you put the, I don't know what you call them, the shims, when you put it back on the ground, it spreads out even more. So that's telling you that it's working and that it's helping your leaf spring. But I just basically took this thing off-roading and handled flawlessly. I can tell you that it feels a lot more planted. When I'm towing, it feels way more planted. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it barely, like usually before when I was driving, every time I'd hit a bump, you could feel the back go like this. But pretty much load bars on the same setting and everything. So this sucker definitely did help, and I love it so much. I hit up road active suspension, and I was telling them how this problems I was having with squat and, you know, towing heavy loads and stuff like this, and they said, hey, our product's gonna be perfect for you. And it was great, and I am glad I put it on. It was super easy to put on, and it worked perfectly for me, and I love it. So couldn't have made a better choice. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. This is Irish Garage Modified. I'm out. Peace.